Opposed?
Except for the,
All right.
and I'm giving that one back to you until we all decide what we're doing.
Okay, sure.
I did this one last time, that was, well, no, it was just stuck in with ones and I just like it. Yeah, I was cold. I was just walked in the office this morning, and it must have been really cold.
I said, oh, you hear this? Like, oh my gosh, this can't be.
You missed one.
Up to my heart.
We normally do $1,000.
The reason I bought July until, not just kind of like it, right, like 263 and 263 shows.
I was just got in line now too.
So you just got a year to do it. Okay.
Because
Good morning, Doug.
there was no way where that's put out.
So as long as your first little balance is going.
Right. Unless you two decide to get together and figure that all out, that's all yours. But I always.
How are you?
Decided my goal. As long as it came back to.
You guys doing it? Great. Thank you. This is the map?
That's an old map.
What is going to say map?
I have to have them for the farmer system. They try to earn me like 200 a month.
Yeah, I see, it said. Those are the schools.
Couldn't be that lucky. Morning.
That's what the minutes said.
Is he still a member of the?
Is Jonathan still a member?
Yes,
Yes. So
I
that's
think
why
he's
I'm-
co-chair.
yeah, he's vice chair.
chair.
Okay. He wants what?
Paperwork. Thank you.
Homework. Sign when you choose to accept it.
Oh, I thought maybe I got left out.
No, this is,
This is all.
draft, we'll talk about it.
you're supposed to keep track of that, not me.
All right, I've got 9 o'clock, we'll open the meeting. Open meeting to pledge. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. All right, before Bridget gets here, we do have some payroll notices from the sheriff. We have official minutes for January 21st and January 27th to sign. You need to sign a signature deal, you said.
That's for you.
Morning, Ally.
Good morning.
How are you today?
I'm doing fine, how are you guys?
Very good.
Linda, were you at the Hall of Fame? I think I saw
saw
you in the corner of my
Saw
eye.
you taking all your pictures.
I know, so why did they put me in the back?
I
I kept getting up, logging over.
know. Great.
One time they took my food. I was like, oh,
I wondered if you were finished eating when they started.
oh well, just some green beans and
You
stuff.
need to tell them next time you need to be towards the front.
I know. Well, when David and Connie got the award, I went there last time, and they were right up front. So I just turned around and took photos in my seat. So
Yeah, it was very
I
nice.
told you what it was. That's where you want to be.
yeah. But it was a nice event.
It was
I
nice.
thought.
event. Nice turnout, good food.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah,
That's what we're taking.
that makes sense.
I also have a letter here from Royal Valley High School, post-prom, after-prom event, and they're asking for your cash donation like we normally do. It's normally $1,000. So I would entertain a motion to give Royal Valley High School after-prom event $1,000 for their post-prom. Do I hear a second?
Second.
Been properly moved and seconded. Any other discussion? If not, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
All opposed, same sign. All right. Donation to Royal Valley passed. We have a purchase order here from the clerk's office. Oh my goodness. She wants to spend some money. It's for IPDS cards for the printers for the 400 system. $550 each. Logan is actually giving them to us at cost. And according to Logan, Logan Business Machines, according to Logan Business Machines, the old cards are no longer available, so we have to upgrade, so that's why they went up in price. So, we need a motion for this. So I would entertain a motion to purchase 3 IPDS cards for the printers in the clerk's office for $550 each, $1,650 total.
So moved.
Second.
Been properly moved and seconded to purchase the IPDS cards for the clerk's office. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
All opposed, same sign. Motion passed.
You take it out of your tip.
Now, that's the last money for the year, really.
I don't spend much, so I don't plan on spending anything else.
I don't think she's touched her technology.
All right, and from the Jackson County Fair Association, they have sent us their financial statement for last year. So are they asking for their normal appropriation, or is that just a given, or what, how is that? They didn't ask for anything, so,
We just normally have a given appropriation also for them.
okay, so we don't have to do anything with this, it's just.
Typically, they just
Okay.
send their budget or their financials in, so we can look over and see how they spend.
The historic society just did.
Yeah,
Okay,
yeah,
perfect.
and all those appropriations that are on that list unless we choose to take them off there at some point.
Okay.
They're just reoccurring.
Okay. And speaking of appropriations, I was at the Northeast Kansas Environmental 2 weeks ago,
Uh-huh.
and we do $10,000, I believe, for that. Each county does. They're looking at asking for a raise in their appropriations. They have not, they said that is the same ask that they have had since they started Northeast Kansas Environmental. And so just to put that on your radar, I said it probably won't happen this year, but you need to, make us aware of it so we can, look at budgeting it in.
Did they have a guess on the
No, they
So
did not.
I would just tell Martha to come in when we start
Yeah.
budgets in April, that she can come in writing what her ask is.
Yes, and what the ask is. So, but like I said, they haven't increased it since they started it, and for $10,000 for us to try to do what they do, I don't think we can do it. So, it's probably gonna be something we're gonna have to look at hard. But it was mentioned at the board meeting that it would have to be a consensus of all the counties, because one county's not gonna pay more than the other, so it would have to be a consensus of all of them to do it, so.
Okay.
That's just putting that on your radar. What do we got with this?
That was a check that we had to write.
For what? A refund for payment premium?
Yeah.
Okay.
The gentleman that he asked me.
Oh, all right, yeah. So what do we have to do for that?
Just wanted to sign that check on that.
No motion, no anything to sign?
And so, yeah, I said that for that problem.
What in the budget? Step two.
Oh, really?
And we do medicine. Dr. Neal needs to sign too. That's Neal's. That's Dr. Neal's.
I was asked by my fellow coworkers if you could waive the fee for the meeting room on February 22nd, so we can host a legislative forum with our local lawmakers. That's all I know about it. David and Brian are kind of organizing it.
I believe we did that
I
last
think
year.
you did that last year. It's just in the morning. I think last year I wrote down we did it from 9:30 to 11. I wasn't there last year for it, but,
I think that's right. It was, yeah.
Brian and David did it last, sometimes I go, just kind of depends. So, I think Brian talked to Pat about it last week, and, I don't think there was a scheduling conflict or anything like that. Is that right, Christie? Okay, so, if you would be willing to do that, I mean, it's open for the public. I think I don't know who's all RSVP'd yet, but, Craig Bowser, Sean Willicott, Francis, they've all been invited,
And I have no problem with that, like I said,
Yeah.
we did that last year, so I
I
would.
make a motion that we waive the fee for the legislative forum held in the courthouse
Do I hear a
Yes.
second?
One second.
2025 year.
Thank
It's
you.
properly moved and seconded to waive the fee for the legislative forum held in the courthouse and Memorial Hall. Any further discussion? No
and you're
further
all
discussion?
invited to come.
I will still be there. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
All opposed, same sign. Motion carried.
Thank you. Christy, do they have to fill out paperwork or anything like that?
I think Brian took,
Did you take it? Okay. I'm just the messenger, so I will let
if
them
not,
know. Okay.
that's the one out of the phone.
Morning.
Morning.
Matt, how are you? Good, you? That's saw you slip in back there.
Got it.
Hang on just a second, I'm trying to catch up here.
And I can pick it up from your, wherever, I'll run out today and write a check for you or whatever. I'll install it. I got come in with wow, load of hay. Ran off my other one. Yeah. We're going to place with a bigger one. But you can go down and take a look at it. You can inspect whatever you process.
All right, morning, gentlemen. How we doing?
Yes.
And he's just using my signature.
Here's our annual report due for recycling, tonnage that we shipped out last year.
I'll take one.
That's one.
I always think it's interesting. I'm part of something.
Basically, it's the amount of tonnage that we're keeping out of landfills,
Looks like things are down a little bit from
so.
just 23.
Just a little bit, yeah.
Some are down, some are up, so
Yeah.
But it looks like the pile is getting smaller out there where the new concrete before the dumpster is. There used to be quite a bit of recycling type. You're talking about out of landfill, some of this is out of landfill, or all of it is.
No, this is down here and,
Oh, okay. So I was talking about there,
yeah, this is what we recycle and actually turn in and get money back out.
and then
Down
down there,
in cans.
the stuff that's recycled down there that goes to scrap iron.
Iron back up here. Well, the scrap iron, yes, the pile is small.
It is getting smaller. That looks like that process is working.
Yes.
what is plastic number 2 heavy?
That is like your, laundry detergent bottles, stuff like that.
Oh, okay, so those aren't part of the recycling.
Yes, it is.
I was saying, last time you had a market for this.
Oh, I'm sorry, no. The natural is
The natural, like laundry detergents and all those. Okay. All right, perfect. Well, I'll keep throwing those in there
yeah, yeah. Now, there is a certain one, I think it's got a 5 on the bottom.
Yeah.
That.
That is a-
Okay.
then. And is that
The
considered
shiny plastic.
a 5? I mean, is that considered a heavy?
It's one that we don't, it can be recycled, it's just we don't have.
We
the
don't
room.
do it.
Yeah, we don't have the room. down
Okay.
there.
All right, perfect. Anybody got any questions about the recycling numbers?
Yeah.
Okay. Linda?
You want to take care of Jennifer and Mary real quick?
Yeah, we can do that real quick. I would entertain a motion to go into executive session for 5 minutes for non-elected personnel, employee performance.
Five minutes long enough.
Starting at 9:15.
You on, the kid? Let's go 10,
Okay.
just to make sure.
Use it.
Commissioners, clerk, Todd, Scott, and Jennifer and Mary.
Okay. Should we go into executive session?
Yeah, Matt, I'm sorry, Matt also.
And non-elected personnel, for a period of 10 minutes, starting at 9:15, Yep, 9:15, at this location, to include everyone's staying better there.
Okay, it's been properly moved and seconded to go into executive session for employee performance, non-elected personnel. Any discussion? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
All opposed, same sign. Motion passed.
Chairman.
No, I think you guys head on back and we're,
Okay, great,
okay.
thank you.
All right, thanks for the information,
See you
I
guys.
appreciate it.
Hi, Jonathan.
If the company who's doing GPS, if all they can supply is GPS, we need to move maybe ahead with that? And is there another company that can help us with the document?
I did talk to them last week.
Okay.
They finally got Jeannie and all of them connected and talking again. And so Jeannie's waiting on them to do a couple things and they're waiting on Jeannie. So this Friday, they're supposed to be having another call and make sure those things got done. And then they'd like Monday to have a call, Zoom call with all of us.
Okay.
That's okay.
That's great with me.
A week from today?
You guys signed an agreement to purchase anything?
No.
Nope.
Same 2024 discounts still in play?
I think it may be. Because he did say, you know, every day they're getting more calls from the counties, asking questions, because they talked it up at that conference. And they've got quite a few counties, there's 83 counties in Kansas that use this STAR program.
Out of
And a lot of
105, wow.
And a lot of them want to go back to that, so a lot of them switched to that, Uptex, I think it was, and they kind of sold, and now they can't get support, and things like that, so a lot of them want to go back.
So each blade, each truck driver would have to have an iPad.
Basically, all your workers, every one of them would, well, unless you set one up down here at Bridgeyard, then they just go in a certain time.
That's what I would prefer, I mean.
Or a computer,
Yeah.
you know. And then they would be putting this.
Your blade operators aren't gonna be able to do that, correct?
Why not?
Well, they're not gonna be able to come into the office and so they're gonna have to have something on
Right.
site. So I'm just thinking out loud, down at the Hoyt site, there could be one for all three of the employees that show up there.
Could be.
That, if that's possible. I mean, what are the drawbacks to having each employee have to log in somewhere? Do you see drawbacks? Do you see?
Well, it's gonna be quicker than the guy filling these out for a week, and then he doesn't bring them into another week into the office.
So doing it on a daily basis is sort of speed things up.
Tremendous. But like I said, some of these cards, they can see them up here, you know, some of them, the guys will sit there and fill the cards out, drop them in the mail, you know, and get them a week later.
If you're lucky.
If you're lucky.
And the thing, point we were bringing up the other day in the meeting out here was, if, say, Mark goes out and drives a truck, and he forgets to put down the start mileage and the end mileage, and he didn't put the end mileage, and then Keith went out and drove that truck 2 days later, and he puts an end mileage on it, then he turns his card in, and he doesn't turn his card in for 2 weeks, then where do you go to find for that mileage start and turn in? So,
No, that's kind of understandable.
guys have got to put certain things down on these cards.
Okay. Okay, so we'll have some more information on the 10th, do a Zoom call.
Zoom call.
Okay.
So, is it gonna be your recommendation that we try this for a trial period of full time?
Yeah, we can.
Okay.
Okay.
Like I said, right now, sure, we can. That's what we should.
And,
If we want to look at it, get
with
the
this-
ones,
wage, or where'd you figure that at?
So I'm sitting up to the,
Yeah.
there's where it's at, I'm sitting up there.
Is that your
I
recommendation?
didn't hear what you said.
2191 would be the highest you could go, that would be level 3.
Okay.
Because with all your open positions, and that's taking with the salary average, so it was about $1,500 on cost.
That keeps you in your budget.
Yeah, you can keep it within the budget.
So that was as high as we were,
Okay. Now, we got a gentleman starting on March first.
but he's replacing somebody, correct?
Yes.
But you got like 7 open spots, something like
No,
that.
not quite.
Well,
Those
you have
are all
open
factored into your
spots,
budget.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah.
So, you just-
Okay. You got the paperwork still?
I've got the paperwork, so is that what you want to go with?
That's fine.
2191, is that what it is?
And just note in the minutes that this is beginning February 1, that this is a trial basis. We'll reevaluate 6 months from February 1. That way we're just reminding
Can we-
ourselves to have a
You're going to
conversation
put down here.
with you guys
Trial basis,
to
trial.
make sure that, hey, is this still?
Yeah,
You're right.
because
And I'm gonna put it
Well,
on.
it's full-time
Yeah.
status, you just put
Trial
trial,
basis, yeah. Nope, that's fine with me.
just so it's noted. I just put trial basis.
From February, or can you give us time frame?
6 months. I would like a 6-month
Yeah.
time frame.
Okay.
That way it forces us to come back and revisit it and
Yeah.
have a conversation.
Be about budget time, so that'd be good.
Correct.
All right, what else you got?
Bunch. This is a list that I got from Christie the other day on minimum maintenance roads. And I don't know who typed the list up or where it came from, but she's got a bunch of stuff on here highlighted and circled,
Uh-huh.
which she has questions on, so I guess.
Yeah, and we're.
What are-
we're talking
what are
about
the questions?
I think that's the list, isn't that the list that we got
It's in the paper, right?
from you guys, that we published in the paper?
That's what we published, yes.
Yeah,
That's where it came from, I don't, did Linda type it or
It came from your department, that's all I know. We don't know.
nobody, nobody out there that can see?
The list,
This list.
that list.
Yes.
that's the list of roads that we were given that were supposed to be on the minimum maintenance list
This is
from
not-
Road and Bridge.
Exhibit A, Jackson County resolution number and all
Well,
that
we
stuff.
typed that up.
Right, we
We
just,
typed that up.
yeah,
But
just,
this,
But you would have gotten information, I think, from that, though.
okay.
So,
But anyway,
oh, go ahead.
it looks like some of the stuff, there's just questions like, is it really B6 or W6 on this first one?
And the map that,
We're finding these maps have not been updated and some of them aren't too accurate. So we're working with, Kate to get some of this stuff done.
well, and that's why, you know, I'm gonna make a recommendation that we rescind the resolution right now until we get everything straightened out, because I really don't wanna publish a list and then have to amend and amend.
I'm gonna ask council though,
Yeah,
by rescinding that, we've already put the signs up. And we're required by statute to have a resolution within 10 days.
well, no, we're required to have the signs
Signs
up within 10 days.
after
If
that.
there are roads
Is
out
there
there,
anything that, by rescinding the resolution,
if there are roads out there that we still don't have signed, then we're gonna be in violation of the statute, correct?
Well, not really, no. I think I think it's perfectly acceptable to go back and say, in another resolution, say, these 10 roads are not supposed to be on the list. And these 3 are.
without rescinding the.
Without rescinding the, you know, you tell me that 90% of them are completely wrong, and I'm gonna change my mind, but it seems to me that if you guys have at least a solid start on it, I'd almost wanna keep that designation in place, because, you know, what's the harm in, I mean, if a road is signed and not in your ordinance, there really isn't any liability of that exercise. Because, you know, nobody's gonna do anything in reliance on that to cause harm, it's probably not gonna drive on it.
If it's not signed and the statute said it has to be done within 10 days of.
Yeah, then that question becomes whether or not that is legally you have relieved yourself of the liability for that road. I mean, that somebody goes on it and it turns out, you know, the road is on the list, but it is not signed. There's no sign.
Mhm.
What's the remedy? The remedy is not that the whole thing is about, I mean, the whole resolution is about. The concept is you could use the minimum maintenance road protection on liability, right? So they went out there, they, whatever happened, and they got their car crashed, right? And they said, well, you know, you're liable for that because of X, Y, and Z. And you say, oh, it was a minimum maintenance road. Well, it's not a resolution. There was a sign up that's really not a resolution. And you're probably gonna have to go at that point and say, yeah, well, we made a mistake. It really wasn't a minimum maintenance road, so we don't have that legal protection. But that person went up the road that had a sign that said minimum maintenance road. So there's at least a good argument for their, you know, contributory negligence is what we call it. You know, if you go on something you know it's not really supposed to with your, you know, 1998 holds, you know, and it's been destroyed. You know, so of the options, I think leaving it in place is far better than the danger on the outside that somebody escapes the liability issue. I mean, they make you guys liable for the road when you wouldn't.
Okay, so this is what we published. Okay? So the yellow ones are different on the map. And it's on- So
So what are the orange?
the orange ones are
Right.
correct.
Okay. So,
And then
yeah.
the ones that are circled are not on there.
Okay, so
Yeah, something else.
we're not on this map?
They're not on the resolution. I circled the ones on the map that are.
So are you pulling that stuff in minutes, or where are you coming up with your?
I took Kate's map, but she has to do the minutes, and I just not it to the resolution that was published. And then I went through what was here, and then I saw what was left on the map.
Are there old resolutions out there, or old minutes that you?
Scott has found some of the old resolutions.
I think the idea was is that this makes for an authoritative final list. Right. And you know, I think it looks like there's probably at least 80% of them that are right. Right?
Well, and that's what I was getting at, is this list here, very first one is 102 road from B4 to B6. And the question is it really go to B6 or W6?
Right,
It's been typed.
but on the map it was 36.
Okay,
So, next one is 110th road from E2, or should that be E6? And going to G, or does it go to F?
So somebody
See,
needs to
that's-
figure it
that's-
out.
yeah.
Somebody needs to
So-
figure it out.
Right.
so when we
So,
started this process, that was what was supposed to have been done, is these roads were supposed to have been gone out and physically looked at, not look at a map and say, yeah, this is a map here. And I'm trying to figure, it's water under the bridge, but we had a disconnect somewhere where it didn't get done. And now we published a list, and we have things on it that aren't on the list, things are on the list that shouldn't be on the list. So we're gonna have to go out and look at these roads, physically
Correct.
look at them.
That would be my recommendation, that maybe that be an additional,
take this one.
yeah, it'd be additional job that if Mary's caught up, give her a pickup.
Right now it's too late.
It, I understand that, but that may be something that, I think she would be great at that. I mean, if you guys are busy and you want to give her a list, and she can just go out, and if there's questions, she'll make note of that, come back and talk to you guys. But she can do some verification if things get slack. That'd be, to me, that's another benefit of having her.
Well, another thing that got lost in translation and all this is nothing was done down on the station.
Yeah.
No signs.
I think we're
We were
kind
there.
of hands off on that.
Right.
Yes, we're just gonna.
Why would that be?
Well, I think the question being is, I mean, are these roads that you guys normally maintain?
No.
Okay.
Okay, we don't maintain them.
We own them.
county
But we still
roads.
own them.
That's
They're
what
still our
I should
roads.
say.
Technically, they're still our roads.
Yeah.
We've just given or granted permission to Craig and Potawatomi, how many years ago, to take over the maintenance of
Some of the
the.
roads.
That I would like to find too, for.
Well,
maybe
let's-
sort of find that out.
I'm gonna ask for, just as far as tribal areas or facilities, that's gonna have to be special. Because I think, one of the ultimate reasons to do this only is to, you can say there's an alert to the public aspect to it, but it's also a liability issue. And I don't think that attaches to the tribe. So if they're maintaining the road, right, because we just said, it's our road, we'll let you fix it. Your guys' liability was questioned there, to my understanding. They're, as a sovereign entity, their liability is even more. So, it seems to me there's probably a way to keep this element.
I don't agree with that, I'm sorry. I
I
don't
think back in
that's-
'95, they talked here when they were working with the tribe in this resolution. Try to get some of those things done.
I'd like a little more investigation done on that, because there again, if they are our roads, then we're still responsible for putting up stop signs, still responsible for putting up minimum maintenance signs.
Not if we've granted them we've granted them the authority to take over the maintenance. So maintenance would include, they put up their own street signs. We allow that to happen by granting them maintenance.
And
I
I've
can't
seen,
tell you
I've
what
seen
year
some
it
of their
was.
street signs, but their street signs are not on all of the roads, are they? I don't believe.
All the ones that they maintain.
Are they? Yeah.
And
I think in my yard, maybe I'm missing, I'm looking.
Well,
And
I'm
I
not,
ran across a list out here the other day, it was on the back of the door of, roads on the reservation that we take care of. So I made a copy of it and emailed it to, Lisa Juanita down here. And said, this is what I found, of what we take care of on the reservation. And she's, he comes back and says, ask if I have a MOB on all these roads.
What's the acronym for?
I don't know. That's what I find out what an MOB is.
Oh,
you say, no, you just memorandum of
Yeah.
understanding.
Careful.
Period.
I don't know what
But
that
anyway.
might be.
That's kind of where we're at with that, so that's.
Well, can I just propose
Sure.
the time honored idea of eating the elephant one bite at a time? So, I know completely that the roads, I'm working on that separately and the legal side of it, so I'm just trying not to jam two very different questions together. I think if you guys, put the energy into getting this list confirmed and getting a good list, then we're ahead of the game. And that's always gonna be the case, that list, you're gonna add, people are gonna come to you even after the fact, because they didn't see the publication, and they're gonna say, it shouldn't be on there, and you're gonna look at it and actually go, you're right, and then take it off. So this is gonna be a dynamic thing, but, so let's not put two difficult things together and make it impossible.
So could this list be given to the road grader operators to help verify too, or is that not feasible?
I'd rather go out and actually see it instead of going by memory. Even if it's the operator doing it, I'd like for them to go out and say, yes, this is,
Physically,
goes to that position or this location.
I just mean when they were out and about. Not that somebody else can't do it too, but
Right.
maybe they had a list also.
Yeah, and that's what we're talking about. is
Okay,
just
all right.
See which direction we need to head.
Maybe they could help too.
Yeah. I talked to Brandon Huntley this morning, he looked at this and him and Bryson started, well, that goes to here, and I think, no, that was 190 road. I think there's a, so I want,
Right. I mean, yeah, that's what I need,
yeah,
as they're out and about. I don't mean just look at it.
right. And that'd be a good time to do it, since probably a little slow.
Yep,
But
sooner rather than later, yep, that'd be good.
Okay, also, I found a file on the gun batteries.
Yeah,
Found a file out there the other day, on like the, roads where Mr. Riley paid to have gravel put on, and there was a few other ones in here that I found, that people had paid. Not really anything tracking anything through of how it was done, if it went to register of deeds, if it went to the appraisers, or anything like that. So got this letter here, there used to be one that I found in this file, from Eric Fritz and Randy Poole, so I just updated it, kind of for an agreement between the, constituent and the road and bridge department, where we get an estimate of the rock, how many miles we're talking about, for the driveway, whatever, and then put a checklist together to go through. These are people here, like I said, ones that I found, I don't have all the information of what was done, but I'd like to start off in the future here with this, and we'll put tracking across here of where we're at, who got it, and
And then it will be trackable for
Yes.
future use,
Yeah.
future maps.
go to register of deeds, go to the appraisers, everybody.
yeah,
Right.
that should be done, yep.
And we can let Todd read through that, make sure. And it's okay. At least it was copying off of the old one. We've got a new hire, for week part two, so you can sign off. Does background check, everything done. The guys, were working in the shop down here today, and trying to do some things with the saw, and it's kind of dark in there, so we got with Byron Riley to get us some newer lights, and adding 2 lights in there also, so it's $1,498. That's what we go ahead and go with it, so there's a lighter in the shop down there.
Which shop is this? The
Bridge.
Bridge. Oh,
Yeah. Basketball should be here today, tomorrow, okay? We had a little salt came in. We're keeping an eye on the weather too for this week, we'll talk about maybe
Talk about Wednesday, maybe.
Yeah, so keep an eye on that. Bryson got a cylinder resealed this week on a big loader. Dust control, this is what we sent out. We decided this is what we're gonna do the same this year. It's the miles we did last year.
you have a sentence in here that says there will be negotiations on whether the county or private contractor will perform the actual work.
What was in it before?
So,
If it's, because before, we would haul the gravel and the rock, and when out here on D Road, we bladed it and everything,
right,
so
but have we ever used a private contractor to do something like that?
we didn't.
The owner would, the owner would?
Owner could.
Why would we allow the owner to use a private contractor? So
It
I'm
was just written in,
right, so it was
years
just
ago,
in
they
there.
may have.
I'm not sure I like that in there. I don't know that I want there to be even an ability for a private contractor to come in. I mean,
Okay.
we want to hire a private contractor because we're busy, that's one thing. Does that make sense? Yeah.
Like I said, I was using a letter that was.
I mean, so for instance, if it was out here and there were trees in the middle of it, we said, hey, you know what, we're gonna get Joe's dozer to come out here and push those trees into a pile. We as a county are making that decision, but there's not a negotiation between the landowner on the sides of that road to make that determination.
That's fine.
Me personally, I just assume take that out.
And that's fine with me, I can see a argument for hiring somebody to haul the rock, especially if we say, it's gonna be 3 months from now, because we're busy. But we could get lucky on contractor to haul the rock.
They will hire, we would hire at their cost. I'm not in favor of allowing an individual to make that decision
Okay.
for us. I'm just not.
That's how you get off the right of way too, or whatever. I mean,
Am I explaining myself?
Yeah, to a certain degree, yes, like I say, if we say as Road and Bridge, that it's gonna be 3 months before we get somebody shaking loose to haul rock,
Okay.
then I think that would be where the negotiation would come in between Road and Bridge and the private individual to hire a private contractor to haul rock, rather than wait 3 months.
Or they might have their own equipment and want to do it themselves.
Are we okay with that?
Yeah,
Okay, that's my question. So we have allowed either the individual to build a road or haul the gravel in the past.
We
Yes, we're-
inspected it.
What, I think there's something about completion
Yeah.
with the specs.
And that, we've done that in the past where individuals have gone in and built the road.
One of Dave Peters hauled rock out there on 238.
Did he pay for it?
They
like
paid
these,
for it, yeah.
these minimum maintenance roads that they, he buys, wants to put a feedlot in there, wants to rock it to that entrance. We come in, shake the road, and they all rock.
Okay,
That's what we've done.
okay. As long as there's no liability on our
But we
part.
still maintain it.
Right. Okay. And
So we are actually building the road, and then the rock's just being hauled in on what we have built.
Yes.
Okay.
Todd, look through that.
So where do we come up with the roads that are on here for dust control, just for my information?
That was what we did last year.
And so, why did we do these last year? I'm just curious.
Those have been, well, I'll let you talk to it first.
Basically, we determined based on traffic counts, some of them.
Okay, I'm just curious.
So I'll give you an example. 142 runs from 75 highway all the way to W. That was done because that goes to the quarry. But because a lot of trucks turn on T road and go north, we did T road because there was a lot of dump trucks in W road also. Then it goes south on W road, 134th, and then goes over to Jeff County. So a lot of trucks were running that way. We require them to run that way because the road going out of the quarry going east is not suitable for dump trucks. And so those were some of the decisions. Others were where,
Your high travel road, like 254 up here.
correct, where it made sense because the amount of traffic created a lot of dust.
246 from 75 to the lake.
By- yeah.
That was a terrible, terrible situation.
U4 Road, for example, from 142 all the way to 94th Street, that is a main thoroughfare. We completely rebuilt that road, almost 3 years ago now. We gave it 2 years to settle out, reshaped it, and now we're dust complete. Mainly because the amount of traffic, and it's a connector route to where they're going, a lot of people use that to go south to get into Topeka, but it holds the road in place, and we're not having to dump thousands of tons of gravel. So those are some of
That's
the.
fine, I was just curious.
No, good question.
The list on here.
And that, when you start doing that, you need to do it 2 years in a row, so it gets seasoned into the material that's there in place.
Yeah, 'cause typically they'll come through and scarify it to break up that top amount, to reshape it, to get rid of potholes, that type of thing. Or sometimes, some cases, you add a little bit of gravel to it, just to reshape it, they wet it, and spray it. I see a huge benefit in it around the county, because when the dust blows, that's the binder that will be gravel, so.
Yeah.
Yes.
On this, could I just go ahead and, I mean, it seems to me that.
If you want to make some changes.
Okay.
Like I said, that was just a
Yeah,
copy
okay.
I had found, and just change dates, names.
Okay, what is the policy that informs this? Because I heard two different things. I think I understood it is you guys don't have a problem with private contractor hauling the rock to the area. But do you want a private contractor to actually build the road?
No, that would be the county's responsibility to come in, shape the road, build it.
That's what I thought I heard, so I want to make sure.
And also, once the initial gravel's hauled, we're not allowing them to haul more from time to time unless they come to us and say, hey, we're willing to donate another few truckloads. I don't have a problem with that.
Mhm. Okay, well, that makes it easier. I'll try to keep it in the spirit of the agreement, stop making 20 pages long.
As lawyers can do.
Okay, so are we good with the dust control?
I'm still living with
Okay.
it.
No, College Road, was that on there or not?
I don't believe that it was.
What's
I
known
would
as
like
college
that,
road, it's not on here as college.
It'd be
Key Road.
Key Road.
It's not on there, I
That's,
like
that's
that.
a main road trying to keep the kids off the highway from Jackson Heights coming in.
We did rebuild it last year.
Yeah. And we spent a lot of time and money rebuilding that last year. And I think that was the initial, conversation last year when we did rebuild it, was to dust control it that way. Keep the road the way it should be, so.
So live it to your, but, so 166 is where they stop. Because typically, we're going somewhere else, but that's kind of on T Road. Yeah, I'm fine with this.
Okay,
So do you want to add College Road to that, Key Road from city limits to Jackson Heights? Is that what you want to do?
I would like to see. Money.
What, I'd like to see some costs on that.
Has it had enough time to settle out? I mean, typically when we rebuild a road, we don't, I mean, we let U road go for 2 years just to maintain it, or to let it, so, yeah.
So do you want to look at budgeting that for next year?
We can.
Okay, then make a note on there to budget that in for 25, 26. Is it 25?
Matt's been in contact with the, people out here at 254. Telecom. On that line.
be locating it this week,
Okay.
get that located so they can finish the bridge.
This is
We can
Brian's
do our
meeting.
thing.
And they are coming this week? Okay,
Yeah, I didn't yell at them at all, because Pat told them that they were coming in.
all right.
They need to be more contrite about it.
Okay,
Okay, mulching, we've got the 106, I to H is done now. Working on J, 106, 94th right now. I'm sorry, that's done. And he's working on 94, J to K.
Who's running the machine, not that matters.
Landon.
That's good, we got a couple guys.
Gotta get them trained.
yep. Exactly right.
Cool.
And as Jennifer mentioned too, you know, we are running across some things in the STAR program, such as this here. Kind of shows your gravel roads, maintenance roads, things like that. How to date that is, I don't know, we haven't looked at it yet, we just ran into this Friday. So
Okay.
if we can do something on our own, we'd like to do that too, just so.
So basically, you would put somebody on that once we get an accurate list, and they would input that in the STAR program.
But once it's in, we have to change it every once in a while,
Yeah,
whatever we have.
It's nice to keep it up to date.
that's, yeah, just keep it up.
Yeah, I think that's a lot of the stuff, there's been, you know, this person in here, nobody long enough, and, you know, Nancy's in here, to know the system.
On that list, did you have the extension down on T Road, where the gentleman went from the end of T Road, from
262.
118? 118 and T, he did an $11,000 road extension down there 2 years ago. I just want to make,
I believe so.
Oh, yeah,
do you remember that one?
I know what that means.
So,
Was that again? T?
yeah, it's T and 118. It was gravel up to the second house. Now, there's a third house, and he did an extension up there. I don't know that he's living in that house yet, but the house is almost done.
They did pay
Work's
for
been
it.
done for a long time, and they
They
paid
paid
for
for
it,
it.
yeah. Because Wade was still here, I remember Wade went out, meeting with the guy, and so it's just,
So that'll be one that needs added to that.
Correct. Right.
So three.
that's the only one I can recall in my district.
Okay. Like I said, I remember them doing a D road out here in 254, we went like 750 some feet of that house.
Okay.
That's all.
You want this back? And Chris, you would, thank you.
Anything else for us?
Don't believe so. I got that one call that I made to you. I got a call from Lonnie, asked me about it, and he was out there looking at it then, so he said, it looks like I've got a few travel for it. Other than that, I don't think I can anything. Check that.
We're trying to get our trucks out, moving around, and hit some of these mud spots before we come to the spots.
Yep.
Yeah, or the blades kind of hit, if there is some snow left, get some spots to kick it back in case we have, like, now I'm trying to think down at the bottom of the hill there on 134 bridge there, and there's a little bit of snow on the side that's just running across, if they could kick it on and off. Yeah, I mean, that's just something, if they're looking for something.
I ran down some roads the other day, and there was, the road looked great, and then there's a pile of snow,
Right,
there was some
that's what
rock,
I'm talking about.
man, it'd be great to kick that off, but
If you kick it back there off.
Yeah.
if you get out there in that and
Yeah.
get stuck,
Yeah, that's true.
then you have a mess.
This one,
We need your inventory of the road bridge and environmental services.
Need that inventory tomorrow.
Everything, or what? But I got the inventory for road and bridge for the trucks and everything, and we were never notified until just now.
That's an annual thing, though.
But everybody else gets notified.
Well, I mean,
And they
typically,
get a list,
uh,
and they get a list of what they should have.
What do you-
Essentially what we had last year, there was a list that's for them.
okay, so just, yeah. Okay.
Right.
and just so you guys know, I did get a compliment Monday night that another gentleman stopped me and said this was the quickest that his roads got cleaned off, this is the best it's been, and he was really appreciative of it after the storm, so just so you guys know, pass it on to guys. Okay?
Thank you.
Thank you. Tim, how you guys doing?
Good, how are you all?
Doing great?
Howdy.
Good morning.
So, what I'm talking about today is the 800 megahertz tower, lease agreement that we're working on wherever. Appreciate Todd for all of his work with that. I went through it, and they made the corrections, and they're good with it. So, I've got the grant extended out till May, which is cumbersome. So I'm hoping to get this done, so we can proceed. We already have, the city's already gone to 800 on AES encryption, and we're not really at that point yet. So that'll be, and then the fire department, of course, a lot of them got their, they got their radios now. I'm guessing, I don't know exactly where they're at on that.
I believe that they're all dispersed, I believe.
I thought they were.
Yeah.
I knew some of them were, I didn't know if they were all, or not, but
I think,
anyway.
yeah, they got them all programmed and got them out to all the.
So we're hoping that we get this underway, because we'll still have some work to do. We ended up having to, we ended up getting a new, the system that we got was basically gonna be out of date by 2032. So, we raised an objection there, and, so this isn't the way to start out.
Yeah.
So, without cost, we did the change order, And so we still haven't received all the new equipment yet, so, but once that comes, we can start, having antennas and install equipment, so, anyway. But they already have a copy that they didn't bring.
I didn't have one, I didn't.
What do you want me to do then?
Well, do you have like a official one there that's clean and all that? Yeah. I don't know if you guys are welcome to look at it.
The attorney already looked at it,
I
right?
think you guys looked at it and said everything's good. so I don't
Hey,
think-
while I enjoyed it thoroughly, I'm not
I
recommending.
bet you did.
Yeah.
Two things that we, did, was put the, Kansas cash basis law in there. This was their standard contract they gave us, so there was a section there for paying property tax, if we don't pay property tax, and so forth. There's a few things that, Tom made them change, and so, looks like it's gonna be workable.
Okay. You're happy with it? I'll touch it with it.
I am, and also I just wanted to clarify on signing it, they have my name on there, but, I think we don't need authorization from them. 'cause it's,
Yeah, you could either do it either way, you guys could change that to sign it, or you could give your approval to the sheriff, and that would bind the county to that.
And I think this is, I think that probably you ought to just sign it. That's my opinion on it.
I'm fine with that.
So it's a general consensus of the board that you just go ahead and sign it.
Well, I think
Motion on that?
yeah, let's do it.
Okay, so can I get a motion to approve Sheriff Tim Morris to sign the contract for the tower?
So moved.
Second.
Okay, it's been properly moved and seconded for Sheriff Tim Morris to sign the contract for the tower. Any more discussion? Seeing none, all in favor, say aye.
Aye.
All opposed, same sign. Motion carried.
we have another issue, on the security issue, so, it'll be okay to,
Well, if it's the security of the grounds here, I mean, you can do an executive session for security purposes, for this area, or a,
for the building,
yeah, your guys' building?
this building.
Oh, okay,
Okay.
sure, yeah, we can do an executive session for the deal.
So I know, go ahead.
I move that we go into executive session, for
10 or 15, or 10 minutes?
10 minutes, starting at 10:13, for matters of security.
Security of public buildings.
Of public buildings, to include sheriff, undersheriff, attorney, Christie, and Commissioner. Yeah, 10, okay, just look over 10:14.
Do I hear a second?
Second.
Okay, it's been properly moved and seconded to go into executive session with the above named people for matters of security, public building. All in favor, any more discussion? All in favor, say aye. All opposed, same sign. Motion carried.
Or senior citizens are gonna do some kind of event, they're gonna be able to get with Kurt, there'll be no charge, other than, as long as it's clean
Right,
to their benefit, save you money, is what I was getting at.
yeah, that'd be nice.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I think he said the only thing would be like cleaning charge, and that was $100. Yeah, so.
But if you're not, I mean, if it's clean to their standards,
Yeah.
what, there would need to be a charge for that.
But we should be able to clean it up ourselves.
One would think.
Okay, well, thank you.
Yeah, just
All right.
information for you
Appreciate it.
guys.
Thank you.
Good.
Jonathan, how are you?
Christie is the commissioner, fund capital outlay on here, on this report that you gave.
Everything would be under the one outlet, if I can run yours.
Okay, so it would be under the one outlay of $4,800,000. Yeah, I just, yeah, if we could run that.
So, Fund 217, what's wrong with
The only thing with the special alcohol fund is we have to make sure all the appropriations are typically.
And like opioid money is what do we use that for? Is that anything that can be
Goes
used for?
back to the sheriff.
Goes back to sheriff completely?
That's what we've been doing with it.
Okay.
We give it,
I didn't know for sure.
he had some expenses there in creating, I want to say this, outside of the executive session, he needed a space created. And so he's been using that money for that.
Okay.
But the alcohol fund, we just want to make sure that whatever we normally appropriate out of there, that we would know what's left over from the year, so
This is
that we
this one we look at.
don't overcommit.
Cash balance. There's $40,000. Parks and Rec.
And that was, I think that's what we took the, post-prom out, isn't it?
What,
Yeah.
what was that, Mark?
I think that's the one we just took post-prom out of, so that's when we take post-prom and things out of,
The special parks and rec,
no, the alcohol fund.
the alcohol fund.
Correct.
Yeah, it has $40,000 in it.
Right, but there's other things already committed to it, so I just want to know what is
Right.
committed to that.
Right.
And wasn't that on
And
that,
typically,
sorry, wasn't that on that, one sheet that you had with the Jackson Roll Valley post-prom?
Yeah.
I think it's already, it's actually already got it printed out.
yeah. But there are other things that come out over the year.
Right.
Yeah.
I just want to know what the balance would be before we get any more funds out of it.
Right. And this-
Alcohol fund, so we have to be careful of what we
Where we
spend.
take out of it, I know, yeah. And it comes every quarter.
But it, yeah, there is a thing.
Right. Yeah. But then if you have a commissioner's capped out, but it's. I mean, I always thought these things were probably outdated. You know, I don't have any time, but we had a discussion in our office,
Yeah.
you know.
Where's this, what's this?
John looked at you guys.
Oh, John did? Oh.
This is just a one month?
That's it. Yeah, I've seen this. You guys can teach it.
You think?
Yeah, it's good because it's really more about the police side of it. It might give you some understanding of the situation, because I've seen this. Jeremy Campbell did it for Edgerton when I was there, and I shared a lot of Parkland experience.
So you would say it'd be a good thing for us to look at?
Well, I think, like I said, you guys kind of already had your time in the barrel, so I leave it up to you, but I was just saying the perspective is a little bit different than what you may have gotten, because it tells you, like, when the sheriff came in here, what he had to deal with,
Okay.
and what he was thinking more than, and that kind of may help you guys with that.
Give us a better understanding.
Yeah, of what to do, so I would, you know, it's, that's the kind of grace notes on
And
this.
that's, that was like $50. If we did it as a webinar here and all of us sat in on it, we don't have to do the $150 thing, right? It's got to really be a
Just
one.
don't put your camera on. Just don't put your camera on.
Yeah.
Yeah. Usually the league is not so great on this stuff, but they got something here.
It's just from 11 to 12.
individually. Okay. All be outside.
Okay. Is this supposed to be what, T13 phone?
So we're looking at capital,
Yep.
and here's all the different capital items, right, here's commissioner capital item, as you come across.
Right, okay.
So the top sheet that you gave us, Christie, has a number of $9,881.62 of current expenditures. But on the other sheet that has all the department expenditures, under current expenditures, the numbers are different.
Okay.
It's 9,633.35.
So the top sheet is a county general fund of just commissioners. This sheet is all capital outlay.
Right, I
That's
understand
right.
that. But under commissioners, if you follow across, the expenditures for the commissioners should be the same as this
No,
number right here.
this is out of the capital outlay. These expenditures came out of capital outlay.
I
These
understand.
expenditures are out of county general. Your commissioner's line item in county general.
Yeah. Commissioner's line item is county general, which is the 001 fund, and outlay is the 050 fund. So you're looking at two different funds. Maybe I'm not
So
understanding where you're at.
like the payroll and all that. CSE payroll. This is county general, which is commissioner's fund.
Not commissioners outlay.
Right, and
So this
these,
should,
and these and commissioners outlays on there. Everybody's outlays on here, right?
right, I understand that part, but this, so what was the purpose of this sheet then for?
That is just to show what you guys have in your budget. So this is your actual.
The budget, okay.
Yeah,
So they're
because I
two
wondered
different,
too
they're
why
two
you gave
different
us this,
things.
but that's why you did it.
Okay. So it's just a coincidence that they're that close?
Yeah.
You don't have an extra ruler where they're doing this is right. Me.
What do you mean?
I said, oh, there. I said a ruler. I asked her if she had an extra ruler. That's okay. I can use these big. Anyway,
Well, I can't believe Kathy doesn't have one of yours.
I can make it work.
One envelope?
But,
One envelope?
yeah, give it to me. Thanks. When it's little print like that, it's like, okay. Right on. No, that's okay. I can read it once I can go across.
Magnifying glass?
It's not like that. Oh, okay. I got contacts in, but it's all in across.
Alright. So, getting back to what I wrote earlier, so would it be possible to pull, we'd have to talk to the department heads, pull money out of each one of their, if they would donate part of their budget to this.
And Mark, I would agree with you, but there's also another fund for, to me, we're improving the building.
Right.
So we have the building fund.
Yeah, and that was like, what, 15? Did I see that on there? Let's
It
see.
should be a couple $100,000 in capital outlay for the,
Courthouse building maintenance, yeah, 271.
271,000.
Yep.
Yeah, I would just pull it out of there, because it's an improvement to the building. That's just an opinion.
And I'm fine with that. That's got a pretty good balance in it. We're offsetting, trying to put money back in there for the, in case sewer fails or anything like that. But
Or do you half out of commission and half out of the building maintenance?
What's that?
Or do you half out of commission and half out of building maintenance, split it?
Oh, this is still January. I didn't. Yeah.
Because we're trying, I mean, we've got, this out here, the manhole that's gonna come out too, and we don't know what that's gonna be yet.
Thank you.
I don't think Pat's heard back, I don't think he's got a, you don't know that Pat's heard back from anybody about what the manhole repair is gonna cost. And, I'm guessing that's gonna be a little pricey. So,
Number of the appropriation.
Oh, okay. So she didn't put it, she didn't put it in.
It should have come out of the 272.
Oh, okay, I was like, there's no way to be in it.
This is on my thing for this afternoon, so I didn't even take it.
I was busy in the month, I'm sorry.
we could probably pull it out of the collection. No?
I'm glad you brought that up. I'm
No.
glad you did.
No.
I'll do it, honey.
Huh?
You and I.
Yes.
Please.
Not bad. I've got nothing to do with it. I can bring it up.
I'm gonna call Father and see if he can schedule.
He's not in town right now.
So there's no other place down there you could go?
I don't understand,
Accessible, but another church, I want to do it.
I don't understand why they're doing that.
I know.
I mean,
What is that?
My,
Polling
Leanna
place.
election place, they want $200 rent a day, and you pay 53 days, and I refuse to do that because that's tax savings.
And where are we currently at the Catholic Church?
Yeah, which that's,
I've never had this issue
I will
before.
Can I call somebody who just make one phone call and then I'll see if I can find some information out why that came about?
Well, she said we were supposed to sign, I had to get liability insurance this year, which I did, I went through our insurance company, and got our liability insurance on the gas station. But then they say that they have a contract and non-members, I believe it's $200 a day, and they want me to pay for the day I drop off.
and I don't agree with that. I'm just totally bamboozled. Why?
Because we've always just sent $45 as a donation. I mean, I can up my donation, but it's taxpayer money for something I have to have.
Let's do a little investigating through that and see what we come up with. You call your people, we'll call our people and see what we come up with. Because that's just
Well, I
ridiculous.
talked to Mary, is that her name?
Yeah.
And we kind of had a difference of opinions.
Is there any other sites in that area?
There's another church down there that I haven't went to make sure it's ADA accessible.
That's the whole thing.
They
This
offered to
is,
move me to the basement, but I'm not doing that. If I have to, I'll probably try to see if maybe I can do something like that.
Okay, let me,
let's do some talking on this. When's your next election?
Well, but see, if I have to change
I
my
know.
location, I've
I
got to have
know,
time to
you
change
got
it.
public
This,
and
I've
do
got to
election
publish
stuff,
it.
so, but that's clear back, that's clear in.
Well, you could have a special.
Well, this is true, but. Give me,
I don't know what all that
We will have an election this fall because of the.
Yeah, this fall,
Because of the,
Sales tax?
sales tax.
sales tax.
But that'll go on the river ballot.
Yeah.
Correct, it won't be a special.
So we'll have that election anyway, so.
Huh?
I don't know.
Who?
I think he's back sometime this next week, I believe, so he's supposed to be here next week, next Saturday.
I'll just make it a point.
Then just let us do some talking and we'll see if we can come up with something, because I don't agree with that.
I know Kathy has stopped talking to.
Really? Talk to her. No, I don't think it is, and that's what,
Yeah, it's down at
Well-
that end where the,
no,
I meant down there.
it's in the office here.
Okay.
Okay, yep. Okay, that's it. Let me look into it.
I mean, I
Well-
can't justify paying them
No,
$600 to have
No,
run an election.
Do we get to use the Hoyt Community Building for free?
I send a donation out of $45, and that's
Just
what
a
Kathy
public
always
service.
did. Yeah.
yeah.
Okay, I'll bring that up.
So you bring it up on your end, we'll bring it up on our end, see what we come up with.
I just don't think I should have to spend taxpayers' dollars for something that they have to have.
Right. Alrighty, so in looking at these funds then, Franklin's got a good idea of pulling half of it out of commissioner, half of it out of the courthouse building maintenance, because, like I say, we're gonna have the manhole out here, that we're gonna have to fix a spring, and I'm not sure how much that's gonna be, and it's gonna be a little bit pricey. Just to say. What do you think? And I'm looking at it as a safety factor for down at the health department. Honestly, Amanda's down at the senior center.
Does Gordon Bridge or anybody have their own system?
911.
Or they have a security system or anything like that?
Yeah, I just, as I stated before, I just hate spending more money on something that's not been an issue.
Right.
To my
Well-
knowledge, I mean, you can call Amanda, I just, in the health department, if they want to fund it, if the health department wants to fund it,
Well, I'm sure we can always add on buttons if they can get down there, but, like I say, I'm,
I mean, we're not doing it for Dr. Swede, we're not doing it for, Road and Bridge, you know. I just, if we haven't had an issue, why spend the money?
because anymore you don't know.
we haven't had an issue in here,
Well, we have.
but not to the degree that we have been having, right?
I mean, we've had it, the likelihood here is greater than it would be at a senior citizen center.
I'll agree with you on that.
That's just my thought, I mean, if,
Yeah,
you know, they're $141 a piece, so you're gonna have to add 2 more of those, plus whatever technology they would need to make it work, and that's a complete unknown.
yeah, and that's the unknown, whether they need a booster or whatever, so let's kind of hold off on that and look at just doing what we have right now, and if we need to add that on, if we need to add that on, we can add that on later.
What was that, Chris?
In county general, the carryover, the estimated cash carryover last year was, I believe, let's say 2.3, and I was actually able to carry over 2.8, so you have more money than what you planned on.
If we didn't, so the commissioners carry over into their, to be put into their capital outlay from what was budgeted last year was how much? I don't see that. This 5 number. want a motion on this one?
I think I'd like one, yes.
Okay, I would move that we purchase the Wave Plus proposal for Jackson County, system upgrade to the amount of $14,317. Half to be paid out of Commissioner's capital outlay, half to be paid out of building maintenance capital outlay.
Is there a second?
I second.
Okay, it's been properly moved and seconded to purchase the Wave system upgrade for a total cost of $14,374. Do I hear any more discussion? No further discussion. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
All opposed, same sign. Motion carries. Do I need to sign that? And will you let Tim know that?
And so last week, did we need to let Ed know, or was, I can't remember, Scott was telling you that we were gonna waive the fee on the dumping of the
I think that,
historic
I
society?
thought he said he was gonna let him know.
He was gonna let
I
him,
thought
okay.
that's what he said.
I thought about
We'll
that
make
later.
sure.
I didn't know
What was that?
that we let Ed know for sure that we were gonna waive the fee on the historical society.
Well, Scott,
Was he in here yet?
well, Scott should have.
That's what
They
I
did
thought
approve
he
it
said
for
that he was
Scott.
gonna do it.
Okay, that's fine.
Yeah,
Okay,
we can double check
I just thought,
with Scott.
Yeah.
sometimes Ed thinks he's left out, so I just wanted to
Right.
And that's,
be sure. I thought about that later. So on the lake agreement then, this would be like the separate thing they would sign, right?
Well, yeah, I'm thinking after looking at what they gave, you guys gave me, and we have
are
like,
you texting Scott?
Yes.
Oh.
you got,
You doing it?
you had 4 documents.
Let's send a vote to it.
I'm thinking you have the agreement, you have, then do a rate schedule, which is the first page of kind of the ad. Yeah, just this,
Right.
that was pretty, that seemed to me to be, like you could just have rates on there. They transfer some of this to a rules and regulations form, you know, so they can change it easily if they figure out, well, we need to have a rule against this. We need to have parking rules, or we need to have whatever.
I did have a couple questions on there, under section 4, miscellaneous terms. Should we put smoking and vaping is not permitted? Because,
Safety?
yes, because otherwise they'll take that as a technicality and,
And this says keys on here, and I think you're just gonna give them a keypad code, right? There's no keys gonna be handed out anyway.
I don't know.
I know he's got a keypad, and then there's something about you do it with thumbprint or something.
Yeah, I don't think there were gonna be any keys involved in here.
I don't think so.
Okay, that's a good point.
That's what I'm pretty sure he said.
And then back on
Well, what
section.
is that,
Sorry.
is that the code that changes then?
Yes.
Yes, you can change the code.
Each time, don't give them a different code to get in or out.
Okay.
That's what we're talking about with Paul.
Oh, that'd be a good idea. If they keep track of it.
There you go. Section 9, insurance and additional agreements required. Do we do something like this when somebody's hosting a beer garden out here on our property?
I'm sorry, what?
Do we do the, like, $500,000 liability insurance when somebody hosts a beer garden out here?
I believe they have to have their own insurance, and then they have to fill out a special application.
Okay, that's what I was curious about. So that is a kind of common practice then?
So that looks like this form here, looks like private event facility use agreement.
Okay,
I was actually thinking that was pretty good, as already, I didn't really have, you know,
I just didn't realize that we already did that. I didn't know if that was
Well,
something that we
I
need
think
to
you
look at
guys-
for here on the yard or not.
think if you guys have, if there's like a public celebration specifically, like a, some kind of parade or event or something, you guys have that, I think you would need, normally I'd have can buy a rider for policy that's not included, right?
Okay.
Because you get, I mean, I've seen it done both ways. The insurance policy says, well, every year you're gonna have a fall festival and
Right.
your garden, so that's in there already. When you're paying, you say, I pay $100 for a rider.
Okay,
Or I've had it too, who said, go to your insurance company, a month beforehand or whatever, and see if you get a rider for how much for that, and they would do it, and that's your insurance.
right.
The only other way is, yeah, they're getting coverage for themselves too. But what you're doing is giving, potential lawsuit, a shiny object for Chase Act instead of you.
So I guess like what I'm saying is, so you have a wedding party out there, a wedding dance, whatever, and people bring your own cooler. How does that affect, because it says in any use or sale of alcohol? Well, so it's private individuals bringing a cooler, how does that come into play?
Well, I mean, that's, policy, if you're allowing, the two levels are, of course, that if you're just allowing it, and it's not being sold, it's, I could see there may be an argument where you guys would want to waive insurance on that, but I don't know if that's the case. To my mind, that's the question. Do you think that if somebody has an event where they're service, I'm thinking serving here as opposed to
Right.
BYOB, I suppose, and not charging anybody, right?
Yeah.
Just They have a bar, it's free.
Well,
You
that I can
cover-
see they would, if they were having a bar, I can see them having the insurance. If they were doing setups or something like that, I don't necessarily see the $500,000 insurance, see where I'm coming from on that. Or they're bringing your own coolers.
Okay, well, that may be a distinction that you guys can outline here, and that's policy choice, because, you guys are insured for the property. You've got tort claim protection. And the only thing that this policy does is they have it, they protect themselves. And that's what I was saying, Cheyenne, is they have $500,000 insurance policy to go after instead of county. I mean, if somebody gets hurt out there, as far as, they drank it too much and they jumped on top of the building and go off, they would sue people who had the event and the county.
We're already covered.
Yeah, you're covered, and they're not, so they would say, well, there's no money there for us to go after the individual, because they don't have anything to take, so let's, all we can get is what the county. Whereas if they have an insurance policy, now they have another $500,000, at least on the
But
books.
it should be up to the individual, so if they're having a wedding out there and they have an open bar.
Well, yeah, you're saying that gives us an extra pocket to just, to just cover them, right?
So
That's
why
not
not?
the counties, but the individuals. And, you know what I mean? So it just gives that much more available money for somebody to get.
So why wouldn't we just include that in every event under the fee?
Well,
I mean, and how are you gonna, you're saying to an individual, you gotta go out and find this insurance.
yeah, well, that's why we got this, we're having this discussion. I think the levels that I see are what you said, which is, there's no official, let's do this party and people bring their own groups. Nobody says anything, nobody does anything. Second of all, you have a bar that's free. And nobody has to bring their stuff and you supply it. But you still don't make anybody pay for it, and you don't have a license to do anything, so you don't sell it. And the third level is, you actually have somebody there who's selling or providing it as part of the, food or whatever, food and beverage. They would have a caterer's license or a temporary permit.
Which that is covered under what? I saw that in here. That's
Yeah.
covered under the second paragraph section for miscellaneous terms, which
Yeah.
the caterer's license and everything.
Yeah, so what do you need insurance for them to have their own insurance for? Well, I don't know if caterers would have their own, maybe they would. If they have a liquor license, caterer's license, maybe they're supposed to, right?
I would think you would have to, yeah. I don't know.
So the question then probably, what would you want them to have if they consciously provided alcohol as, the issue kind of being, I think we get these kind of things that separate out I'm bringing my cooler just because it's party, right, versus I'm supplying it, which means the person who came on the property as an invitee of you folks, meaning you basically invited them because you opened this up for public use. So you are creating a connection to them, liability, no matter what they do. No alcohol, whatever. So you want to have protection, the extra protection, like I said, it doesn't add much except for an esoteric idea that there's more money here to satisfy a claim. Meaning if you got medical bills of $100,000, you got available to you $500,000 of coverage or $1 million of coverage total. This is more.
Well, okay, here, I'm just asking questions so I don't know. The second or third paragraph in section 2, doesn't that effectively hold us harmless from the guy who goes out, drinks too much, gets up on the roof and jumps off and breaks his neck?
Yeah. It's supposed to. That's what that is.
But they can still sue us anyway? I mean, they can still sue us, but if
They're-
that
this is-
paragraph is in place, then how
Yeah,
can
they
how can
indemnify, and that's why. I mean, basically they're saying, you can't stop somebody from suing, but what they're saying is that you go after them, right, for this indemnity clause. So, your position is not gonna change because you still got the insurance in case this fails, but you're only seeking indemnification, right?
Okay.
So what happens if that's an empty ship? They don't have any money to
Right.
indemnify. They don't have a
Right.
policy. I mean, it doesn't stop them from suing you, and it doesn't stop the insurance company from being involved. That's all it says. That's all you can say.
Okay.
Which is why if you're saying, we want to be immunized from suit, that can't be done and keep us open in any real sense. So
Okay.
that's why maybe, it's just, and at this point, it's probably a question too of likelihoods in the sense that, we're all adults here, the chance for injury or damage goes up with alcohol.
All right. Okay.
I mean,
No,
so that's why
that's,
you kind of.
that's a good discussion. I'm glad you explained it that way, so that makes more sense. So then the only thing that I see that I would put in there would be the vape, smoking and vaping is not permitted.
So what did we agree to, that each individual who's gonna sell alcohol, there must have insurance?
Sell
But did they-
alcohol, sell alcohol.
Okay.
Because that comes back to the, where to say that? That comes back to the second paragraph of the miscellaneous, I believe it is, sale of alcoholic beverages,
Yeah, the
beer
use.
sold property license, provided evidence he says performed by proper licensed agent.
Well, this is the use of sale, so you
Yes.
probably should say sale.
Probably should say sale, not use, because,
That's where the visual.
Right, so, but the average individual that's gonna rent it and have an open bar or whatever, bar mitzvah, wedding, whatever, they're not gonna be required to get the $500,000.
I believe it said that they are going to have,
Well, that's
in any use or sale of alcohol. So I would almost say on that, yes, they would have to, for any use, if they're gonna give it away free, they would have to have that $500,000.
Isn't that kind of section 9?
Yeah. Yeah, that's what we're saying, and I think that if there is, so like I say, somebody goes out to an open bar, that's, if they just have setups and it's a BYOB, then I would say no.
Yeah, I mean, I just want to get to a point where it's simplified.
Right.
Because to me, this sounds like a nightmare.
And I'm curious what Northeast Kansas does.
I don't know.
That's basically
What Kurt did is
Yeah.
basically theirs,
Yeah,
yeah.
but I mean, as far as the insurance policy and everything, I don't know if they require one or not, I'm not sure.
And why would it just be included in the fee so that if you're paying $500 to rent a facility,
And I call it Scott.
it's,
Yep. Yes. Remember we asked you again last week to talk about that? For this waive the fees? Yes. We just wanted to make sure that you had notified Ed for whenever they start bringing stuff out, that was done. Okay, well, they're gonna be bringing it out to Ed, so she should probably let him know, so that's what we're discussing. That way he knows he's not calling in and trying to find anything out, so. All right. Yep, talk later tonight. So what's your thoughts on that, Keith?
I'm pulling up their website, I want to read what they have on their
Okay.
website.
Well, I think, this is what I got with the stuff. There was already a complimentary service of alcohol for it, which I thought was pretty good, which I thought was a good part of this.
Yeah, that's just one thing.
Yeah, they don't have it.
Yeah, and I think they're covering both, they're saying basically you can have, if you have an event where you have a bar, unpaid, not cash, it's a complimentary bar, then you're still covered under this, you gotta do this. Part of it, I think, was if they had policy insurance.
Okay.
Yeah, it's probably,
It'll be up to Kurt to make sure that happens, so.
So the KSA number that he quoted down here on the back of this thing, what is that? The 75-6101
I think that's the Kansas Tort Claims.
Tort Claims Act, which,
Well, that basically says that any governmental entity like the county is limited in liability for certain
okay,
issues.
okay.
And what it does is limit liability in most circumstances to $500,000.
Because he really didn't put an insurance thing out here
Where did I see that?
on his prior event thing, agreement,
And then it must have been in the rules.
somewhere else.
Yeah, it's in the rules, where it's first, the rules. Will include alcohol, the renter must obtain insurance provider to submit the copy. So basically, that's the term I put in the agreement.
Okay.
Because I wanted to get the rules to be more formal, like the grills,
Right.
cancellation time, grills. Probably no smoking anybody
Oh, down here it does say what?
there. And very bottom.
Okay, very bottom, yes. It's kind of in Kurt's, it has the part.
Did you give us a bird to look at?
I didn't,
Okay.
have connection to him, I don't think, so. But almost, like I said, I just got this thing done, so, rules and regs, which is what I think this sheet kind of is.
Mm-hmm. Right.
And the rate schedule, which is just the rates and some basic rules on that. And then this private event facility out on East Street, maybe I also have a bid, but it's pretty big. So those would be the three things. So you got a packet there, and info, signs up that they can do.
Okay.
And so I think probably it's just confusing right now because like I did, I pulled this from there and put it in here.
Right.
I pulled a couple of things in permits to put it in the agreement. So this, I think, is probably pretty well unchanged.
Okay.
So if you want, then I can, the vaping change, and I guess I don't know if we come to a final on the use or sale, use and sale, use or sale. The keys.
Okay.
And that'll give you enough time to just read something later on, you say, gosh, I forgot about that.
Sure.
I think it's a process, and I don't know if it's going to occur or not.
Just bring me a copy.
Yeah, we're gonna copy this, Kurt, and let him read it over. Anybody else have any more discussion on that?
Yeah, somebody could send me, I don't know if I have some, I can send it around after.
Wait, you can send Kurt's email?
And that may help too, is you have Word, I probably want to send Word versions of some of this stuff.
Yeah. I'm sure he probably does. Okay. Then, right now.
Am I on the clock here? Is that what, I don't know if I was being called on.
You're being called on, what do you got?
Well, I just want to give you a notice of this. It's not something you probably have on your radar, maybe not, but this is the danger of Kansas legislature. There's a new House bill. It's House Bill 2088. The long and short of it is that this bill would require fast tracking of certain permits and other required approvals for real estate development. Meaning the planning commission will be on fast track, or your zoning administrator, whoever, is forced to do certain things in 60 days. If this bill passes.
Okay.
So they would require, like, if you had, and some of this may not be so difficult, but like a building permit would have to be done in 60 days. But also certain plating, zoning changes, appeals have to be done on a fast track.
Look, I have your question on that right there. So, the building permit would have to be done in 60 days. If the builder has certain requirements that they have not fulfilled within that 60 days in order to get the building permit, what happens then? We still gotta give it to them?
Well, I think that, yes, I think that you say you have to have a decision probably, so it'd be a denial
Okay.
permit. I don't think they take away your ability to deny the permit, it just makes it so that if you don't deny it or approve it within that 60 days, it's deemed approved.
Add that to your list.
Yeah.
So
Yeah, and
obviously there's somebody that's complained at
so
some
this,
level.
so you can tell this has been request, I don't know if this is Andrew Means, WIENS, on behalf of Opportunity Solutions Project. So I'm guessing that this is the real estate subdivision development guys that are chafing because Wichita, Hutchinson, Overland Park, Olathe, or whatever, maybe even Liberty and Auburn, take too long to approve things or run things through the system. And this is their answer, is to force you guys to do it faster.
All right.
So, I mean, I didn't fly spec it, I read
What-
through it.
So let's take a look at that just briefly. Because do they have the authority to forced counties because of home rule.
Yeah,
I mean, I think there's a lawsuit ready to be filed on something like that, where they're saying, we are now taking over your zoning and planning and saying, you have to do this and this within a certain period of time.
Yeah, I knew that was, and that is a very complicated question that kind of was, I thought was beyond my remit for this purpose, just the wording of the fact that it's out there, because the first, seems to be the first thing that we hit the fire alarm, then it's talking to your guys' lobbyists, legislators, whoever, you go to this meeting or whatever, plop those down and say,
Do you have a copy of that for each of us, or?
no, this is just one
Well, I just looked it up here, and also there's some other, the 60 days is not only the thing that I see. If an application is incomplete, local governments must inform the applicant within 15 days detailing the reason for incompleteness. Should the local government fail to respond within specified timeframes, the application will be automatically approved.
So therefore, they're taking all the responsibility off the applicant and putting all the
Yeah.
responsibility on the county.
Yes,
Yeah. So,
exactly
I have a
right.
real issue with that.
Yeah, well, I knew this would probably be a pop-up issue. And I get your point, which would be, if it's passed, what do we do?
So I think for us,
Yeah, it's all hands on deck.
yeah, we'll get a hold of our representatives and let them know how we feel about it.
And I don't know if Mr. Weeds is a representative or not.
Is that the complete bill?
Yeah,
If you don't mind having Christie just run a copy, I would.
yeah, you might cheat on the highlights if you want. That's why I was ready to go, what? Yeah, but I think it's a legitimate question about what is your ability to home rule out of it, if it is passed. And I think because of the way this is set up, counties don't have the same home rule power that cities do.
Well, now here's
Cities have
kicker here too.
more.
They have constitutional home rule, you guys have statute.
Here's a kicker here too, they introduced it in House on the 23rd. The 27th, it was withdrawn from the Committee on Local Government and referred to the Committee on Commerce, Labor, and Economic Development.
Right, shuffle it around, put it in something that nobody's ever.
Yeah.
They're submarine, you guys.
So, and they had a hearing on it January 30th, of course, it doesn't say anything about what the hearing entailed, because this is the first I've heard of this. Wow.
Sure, it was just a bunch of apple polishers.
Oh, yeah.
For that's too quick, 7 days. for an apple polisher. Well, I can't say the other.
All right, well,
I'm assuming the Kansas Association of Counties is probably all over it.
I don't know where I got this from.
Or the
I
J.
remember it was, what was a listserv that boosted it, was City Attorney Association of Kansas, which aligned with Kansas, the league municipalities.
Okay, so put your lawyer hat on. If you're a developer and you come to Jackson County and it's been more than 60 days, and you're representing the developer, I mean, don't you already have some ability to say, hey, this process, we need an answer? I mean,
Well, I think the answer is probably no, other than probably some pretty extreme ones.
okay.
So if I'm representing a developer, we submitted, let's assume for the sake of argument, we're top notch and everything was right. And let's also assume for the benefit of the doubt that, the person, Kate, whoever it is, who's the administrator, is doing all their jobs, it's just, the meetings and everything following when you do, you can't get an actual hearing on it or a meeting on it until.
Wouldn't the chain, that chain be that if your developer isn't getting things done in timely fashion, you would come to us, then we would have the conversation with our administrator and say, why not?
Yeah, and that's probably one of those things where you end up saying, if it's day 70, right, of the process, and you have a hearing in another 10 days, my advice obviously would be, just wait for the meeting, because you're not, the cost of whatever you're gonna do, because the next step, in my mind, is that you actually have to go to court and ask for the writ of mandamus, which is pretty serious. And I think 6 months into the process where it doesn't look like you got the end, that's probably where that triggers, right? Where, and especially, and this gives them probably a little bit more to say, well, it's been 4 months, 60 days is the limit. We should, you know, that's just mandamus is required. I mean, you're that much better off in that fight. So, I mean, that's what I would say is the remedy for them for the 6-month guy and no, no sunset in sight. It's not great. It's still a very expensive process, but that's giving them their benefit, right? But it's pretty onerous. I mean, reminds me of when I'm writing a contract with my clients. You better bet that's slanted in every way to pay for my client. So I don't know why they didn't hold off, figuring that maybe the sum, even if 20 to 30% of it struck, we're still ahead of the game. Maybe 90 days.
I'm going to send a email to Mike Taylor real quick and just ask him what kind of rumblings he's heard on HB 2088.
Okay.
See if we can get that tonight.
I have something I'd like added to the minutes from the 31st. Said, Kurt said in business about cost of dumping at the landfill, he would like the county entities to work better together to save the county money. We also had, Scott said that basically for the amount of tonnage that he's hauled in there, it's been at half price.
It's the amount of dumpsters that he's hauled in.
Amount of dumpsters, yeah.
Because
That's the only way they have of measuring it, because we don't have. Kurt's saying that those dumpsters aren't full.
Yeah.
Okay, we have no way of measuring that, and I don't know how you would ever do that. I just want to make noted that the county, I believe, we are trying to work with everybody. I mean, short of us just saying he can dump down there for free, I mean, and that's certainly a conversation,
Well, what if you, right,
we
right.
can do.
I mean, I drove out there on the weekend and stuff, and those dumpster things aren't near as big, I'm sure, but, down there at the
The
landfill.
ones out the lake,
Right. And
the ones that are self-dumping,
that Kurt takes down
they're not as big as what's,
there. No, not near.
as the dumpsters in the landfill.
Right, so, I mean, when Kurt walked back in here, I mean, I understand what he's saying, that you can't you can't compare it that way.
Right, I think what they're looking at, the information that Scott gets is only what Ed gives him.
Right.
That he brought a dumpster and it holds X cubic yards.
Right.
And he looks at it down there and says, it's not completely full,
Right.
so we're giving you a discount right then and there.
Right. Because, I don't know, in my own mind later, I thought, so what if when he took his stuff down there and Ed went to write his ticket out or charge him, what if we made a policy that the lake got it at dumped at half price? That would be, I don't know.
So where the argument comes into play, even though it's all county money, every department head is going to say, but now he's pulling out of my budget.
Okay, but, so the other thing is, he mentioned, he knew the sheriff's office went down there and dumped a load of something, and they weren't charged at all.
Wasn't aware of that.
Well, that's what I was told. Maybe that
Yeah,
was a different conversation, but somebody told me that, well, they charged the sheriff's office and.
I don't know what the sheriff's office would haul it.
I don't know, I
Because
didn't ask.
their trash is picked up by a local service.
I didn't ask.
What it ends up getting into is Scott's trying to defend, his budget. It would be like saying, okay, well, for every load that goes down here, we're gonna take $100 out of the treasurer's budget. Doesn't make sense, but I mean, there's a cost to the county, so short of the commissioners coming up with that money out of a fund, it has to come out of somebody's budget. And what Scott's saying is, look, he's getting a discount, he has a budget for trash. Yes, there are times where,
But is he really getting a discount? Because I don't think he quite is.
based on the information that Ed's giving him, I don't know how you, short of putting in a set of scales down there and weighing everything, I don't know how you get any closer than what they're doing now. I mean, I understand the whole work together, and I appreciate the fact that Kurt, you know, can come in whenever, if we do stuff for Kurt out at the lake with road and bridge equipment, I don't think we should be charging man hours or equipment hours and stuff like that. But at the end of the day, we have to figure out what budget does the money come out of? And are you gonna punish one department to help out another department? I mean, it'd be like you the Register of Deeds saying, well, Kristen has got a lot of money in her account, let's take this new software out of her account.
Yeah, I know, the lake and the landfill, they're all in county general, it's. I
But
just-
they're all
I just
budgets.
I know they are, I know. But I still
So
think,
how do you-
I still think that the way he's being charged, it's not being looked at right, but that's,
So how do
I
we
don't know how to
change
get
that?
that across. I don't know how to change it,
Yeah.
I don't.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's like he said, I think, the thing is, when Ed looks at a trailer or a dumpster or something like that, whatever comes in truck, he's got a pretty good idea of what it is. When you bring in a dumpster like Kurt's bringing in, I don't know, other than weighing it, how you can get a viable, you know. So I think it's looking at the dumpster itself, not looking at what's in the dumpster.
Right.
It's
But I
just
think
coming
when
in
you're,
as a dumpster.
when he had the printouts and stuff, I don't think that was inherent right.
So maybe we just need to get him in here and Ed, and let's have that conversation.
Yeah.
Yeah,
If there's
maybe
a
Ed
way,
needs to come in on the conversation.
and let's have that conversation.
Right,
Yeah, we can do that next week.
that'd be good.
Okay, so like I said, I'm emailing Mike Taylor, and it's very short and simple. Just curious if you've heard any rumblings about HB 2088. This has to do with mandating counties to fast track some permits. In reading the summary of the bill, it seems this is putting all of the responsibility on the counties and giving the applicant a pass on responsibility. Any insight would be appreciated. Good?
Yep.
Well, can you add something there?
Sure.
Who's that guy?
Mike Taylor, he's one of the lobbyists for Kansas Association of Counties.
I said, tell other legislatures that will destroy their lives. Stop. I was speaking out loud, right? Okay, well, I think you're clear about that. That's funny, I was joking about that. I'm worried about this thing, so I'm thinking about any threats you may direct or subtle or not so subtle. Let's do it.
All right.
Keith, to answer your question, I did not transfer anything into the commissioner's fund. We had a rollover from what we needed.
So whatever was budgeted for the commissioners last year,
You guys were actually under this year.
okay.
But I had a cash carryover higher than what I needed. So we could probably take some of that and put back.
That's fine.
Because we should have had a cash carryover of, we needed 2.3 million, and I think I gave them the 2.8 million, so we're about 490,000 more than what we thought we were gonna have.
Can we split that into the risk management and commissioners?
Just forget about it.
So do you wanna do the whole amount, or you wanna do 400,000, or?
What, when you say forget about it, I mean, it just sits there.
Yeah.
It's gonna sit in one spot with that.
You don't need to know it's there to spend.
Right, but I think it's good to know where it's at, and is it available for,
It's
risk
in,
management?
it's in your cash, it's not in your budget.
Right,
So it's sitting there in cash, it's just not within the budget cash.
and how would you know it's there unless you ask? I mean, therein lies the problem. And to me, I see it as a problem, because when it comes time to do budget, I think that's part of where we got in trouble over the last several years, of not knowing where everything is.
I actually have it on the report, on the cash line item, I go in and put what the cash carryover is.
I don't care, you can put it all in risk management. I mean, typically,
I don't care, you guys just tell me what you want.
yeah, but,
Let's think about that, I don't know what we want to do with that.
well, I mean, if it just sits there, again, how do you know it's there when it comes time to do budget, unless somebody says, oh,
But it'll show up at that.
how? Tell me how to show up.
It's your overall cash, right?
Yeah.
The county has a.
Right.
Yeah, and you don't show it, you haven't designated to a fund yet, is that what the problem?
Hey Kurt,
That's the problem, it's not designated to a fund. And so there's no way, when I'm looking through that budget report,
you can pass.
if it says there's $9 million, and of that $9 million, how would I know that 400,000 of it is additional cash?
You're gonna have your cash amount. So you're gonna have your cash at the bottom, that's gonna show the cash forward amount, and then you're gonna have your budget amount. So the budget amount and your cash amount is gonna be the difference of what the carryover. Does that make sense?
It does, yeah, so you're subtracting the two and getting 400.
I mean, if you know where to look, it's there.
If you know where to look. If you know where to look.
But if you want me to move it, I can.
Six, we got
Just
something
keep it in the back of your
Not
mind.
trying to spread it out.
You know, it's like,
Once you have it,
If there's an emergency.
About the other documents, like.
But isn't that what risk
we gotta keep
management?
this budget down.
Isn't that what risk
Yes,
management?
yeah, it can go
That's
over.
not putting it, but
I mean, that's what it's
It
there.
should, yes,
So that,
yes.
because the average individual would not know.
You're right.
Yeah, we've got to set the risk management up just for that.
And that's, yeah, that makes sense.
But
That's kind of what we had that budgeted in here for, right?
we don't need to make a decision for that.
Not budgeted, that was a one-time transfer into risk management.
Right, and then we're spending the risk management.
Yeah.
You have Mary's last name, so.
Is it SAU?
It's S-A-V.
Caitlin is this.
I know, and hers is,
We can table that till next month,
Yeah,
if Mark chooses.
I choose to table that till next Monday, let's talk about that on Monday, let's chew on that. So we read the minutes for the 31st,
Yes,
any additions or corrections?
just what I told Christie.
And we have one on Mary's name.
Motion to approve, with changes of January 31.
Or your second? All right, it's been moved and seconded to approve the minutes of January 31st with changes. Any more discussion? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
All opposed, same sign, motion carries.
So, on the alcohol, so the way we had it didn't work with 25 or less.
Todd and
So,
us,
so if alcohol's at
all
all,
executive session for.
then they have to go get an additional.
Possibility.
We can have, we can have Katie over there.
are you gonna have to register us for?
I would like to do this, would you like to do the
Sure.
League of Municipalities?
The webinar thing for now.
It's gonna cost $50, I
It's
think we
next
do it up
week,
here.
Tuesday.
Okay, yeah, that's great.
And I'll make that clear.
Yeah, I wouldn't mind sitting in, we can just do it from home.
Well, I would just do it here, that way it only costs $50.
People are just, and it's essentially the
She,
same.
but she has to register by the 7th,
Let me look, next Tuesday, the 11th,
from 11 to 12.
And I can just
do that.
attach this
Yeah.
into the packet that they signed.
Well,
This is what you,
what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna make some revisions to that. I'm gonna email you right now. If you could send me the other, all these other
Okay,
documents you have in Word. to make it-
Scott
I can make it easier for me. to
said that
read.
he talked to Darlene, and Darlene, or he called in, and said Darlene told in last Tuesday, so we're good.
If you see anything else, let me know. I know about the keypad, not keys.
representative, you want to
Right.
say he'll come
So
along.
anytime someone
Then
does it, they get
and
their own
her-
Well,
specified.
yeah, let's have Chris get a hold of him and get him up there on Monday and Kurt. And we'll see if he gets some work down in the trash deal. We'll have Scott here also.
Do you want to do that in the morning with Scott's here?
Yes, if that's good for Kurt. Cause Ed's down on Monday, was Ed's day off on Monday?
Monday, Tuesday, his day off is Monday.
Monday.
Yeah.
So we'll see if he can come in, I'll pay him for it, I mean, I don't, whatever.
Or can Scott just have a conversation with him and
Yeah.
get some additional information from him?
Okay, that's fine,
I'd rather have Ed come in.
Okay.
okay?
I mean, I just would.
Well, and I didn't get to see, you know, everything that was right there on.
Right, but
On
we
his
could
paper,
just
but-
all discuss it, would be
But-
better.
Right, and I don't know if I explained it well enough when I came back in, my thought, and maybe but the way when Scott was explaining it there, the way it came to me is that I'm bringing a 20-yard trailer of trash every time, and I'm being charged for 16 yards of trash.
Right.
And so because I'm not being charged for 20 yards of trash, I'm getting a discount.
Yeah.
That's the way it is explained, you know, the way I took that is I'm getting a discount because I'm not getting charged for a full 20-yard trailer.
Right.
But
Because I can't get 20 yards in it.
Right. And
But-
like we were talking earlier, on something that's reoccurring on a monthly basis, it's the money's gotta be paid for the dumpster, and the money's gotta come out of the budget somewhere. So how do we find that balance where you're not getting overcharged, but also in landfill, they're not losing money out of their budget? Because I explained it this way, is, you know, it'd be like Road and Bridge asking for money out of somebody else's budget to cover something that's not in their budget.
Well,
And I get the whole working together thing. I think on the flip side of that, if Road and Bridge can come down with a blade and some dump trucks and help you, there should never be a charge. And we'll address that, because it's not a reoccurring thing. You're not asking for it on a monthly basis for them to come down and maintain your
and
roads.
I make that true to, you know, Brandon or Scott or, you know, all of them, that this is when you have time and you're looking for something for your guys to do. I can always use a blade and I can always use a.
But we'll bring that,
Yep.
I would like to bring that up, that if you're doing an improvement, you need 10 loads hauled, let's just get it done, and there won't be any cross charge.
Yeah, pay for the rock and that's it, so.
Right,
yeah.
no, and that's just, and that's all I,
Yeah.
you know, was meaning when, you know,
Yep,
but, no, but, and the whole trash thing, it didn't make sense to me, that's the only reason
Yeah.
with the, how he was explaining it, I guess, with,
Right.
Yeah, we'll get Ed down here, and we'll walk through it.
because the only thing I was looking at was, you know, what we're charging is $13 a yard, and that's what I'm paying for too. I mean,
correct.
this 13 is what's on my bill, this, the actual price per yard
Sure.
is the same for what, or the, but, no, it's still, in the long run, still saving money, it just takes a lot more of my
Yep.
time. But,
Do you have anything this afternoon, are we good?
no, I'm good.
Okay.
No, I just, and then, once he gets that to me, we can finalize that, because we've got a lot of people. Well, we have a lot of people, we need to be covered on whatever
Yeah,
he thinks, and.
Still need an executive session?
yes, I do.
Okay.
I'd like an executive session,
Did this involve her?
nope.
Oh, okay.
You're good.
You better run, you better run.
Now you leave. With Commissioners Christie and Todd.
Move to go into executive session for
What time Monday?
purpose of litigation,
9:15.
possible litigation. To include our counsel, or here in the chambers, beginning at 11:38,
It's just 11:38 right now.
11:39, I watched it click over.
Yep.
I'll second it.
It's been properly moved and seconded to go into executive session with the members listed above for attorney-client privilege for possible litigation. Any more further discussion?
How long was it? 10
5 minutes, let's go 10 minutes, I just want to make sure, let's go 10 minutes. Any further
Aye.
discussion?
Oh,
Not, all in favor say aye. Aye. All opposed, same sign, motion carried.